Hello and welcome to Caring for Kids, brought to you by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, and I'm your host, Larry Burns, President and CEO at the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. We've got a great show planned tonight discussing issues that impact children locally, regionally, and nationally. Each one of our guests tonight are playing an important role in children's health and wellness. We have Dave Lawrence, Chair of the Children's Movement of Florida, Ryan and Kelly LaFontaine of the LaFontaine Automotive Group, and also founders of You Can Survive, a local nonprofit devoted to raising funds for cancer research in Michigan. And Rich Homberg, CEO of Detroit Public Television, alongside Tara Hardy, education specialist at Detroit Public Television. And it's all coming up next on Caring for Kids, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR. David Lawrence Jr. is chair of the Children's Movement of Florida, nationally known for his 35-year journalism career, which included leadership at the Detroit Free Press and Miami Herald, where the paper won 5 Pulitzer Prizes. Retired in 1999 as publisher of the Miami Herald to focus on early childhood development and school readiness, Mr. Lawrence holds a journalism degree from the University of Florida. He completed the advanced management program at the Harvard Business School and has received 13 honorary doctorates. Dave, welcome to Caring for Kids.
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for asking me.
And it's great to hear your voice again. And I was at Children's Hospital back in 87 to 90, and you were a board member, and you were a key member of our Caring for Kids committee that raised close to $20 million for Children's Hospital of Michigan and a brand new ambulatory care building. And you and I worked a lot together with physicians and others. And I know it's a long time ago, but do you recall any of those things in the days of being on the hospital board?
I have enormous affection for Detroit. If you ask me the favorite place we've ever lived, I worked in 7 cities, right. 7 newspaper cities. Honest answer, it'd be Detroit. Now, we love Miami. We'll be here for the rest of our lives. But if we were a significant number of years younger, we'd probably come back to Detroit. I think it's one of the great untold stories in America. Coming out of an $18 billion bankruptcy deficit, come back from that. No one has ever done anything quite like that. We visited Detroit a couple of years ago. We're stunned at what's happened on the riverfront. Mm-hmm. Stunned at what's happened around Wayne State and so forth. It's an extraordinary community. What do we love about Detroit? We love the people, and that was the story on the Children's Hospital. At another point, I raised $6+ million for natural habitat chimpanzee exhibit at the zoo, which we loved. Yeah. Detroit's a great community. The story has not been told anywhere near fully about how special a place Detroit is and what it's come back from, and frankly, my own sense of optimism for the future.
Exactly. And I was talking to Chuck Hammond about your time at the zoo and raising money, and Chuck's involved a little bit with us at the foundation. So we all miss you very much. And,
well, we still keep up with people in Detroit. It's a wonderful town.
And when you left Detroit, I know everyone was extremely disappointed, and you went to the Miami Herald, and you were there for a while. And can you reminisce a little bit with our listeners about your days at the Herald?
Sure. I was publisher from 89 to 99, and in the mid-90s, the governor of Florida was Lawton Chiles, and he asked me to be on the Governor's Commission on Education, which was a 2-year civic assignment, and he asked me to chair the area of school readiness. I'd never heard of it, despite the fact that we have 5 children. I simply came away convinced that the future of the United States of America, a country I love and we love, depends on children getting off to a better start in life and in school. So I decided to retire. It's now been 18 years since I retired to work full-time on all of this.
Excellent. And Florida is very fortunate that you were willing to do that. And as chair of the Children's Movement of Florida, and it's a citizen-led, nonpartisan movement to educate political, business, civic leaders, parents about, as you say, the urgent need to make the well-being and education of all children in Florida a highest priority. And can you give our listeners a little bit more information about some of the things you're doing there?
Well, yes. First of all, we passed in Miami-Dade County, which is a county of about 2.8 million people, making it larger than 16 states. We passed a dedicated funding source for children. People were willing to raise their own property taxes, essentially for other people's children, and we passed it 2-1, and then reauthorized it with 85% of the vote. It's $119 million extra dollars this year, and that or more every year. We also passed in Florida a constitutional amendment providing for free pre-kindergarten for all 4-year-olds in the state, if their parents want it. So this year there are 174,000 4-year-olds in the program.
Wow.
But I would say the key concept here is understanding the word movement. I read a lot of history. Indeed, I've always read at least a book a week. I love history, and I think I have some sense of what happens in history. And I fundamentally think that building a movement is about everyone. So the civil rights movement, yes, was about minorities and African Americans, but it was fundamentally about equity for all Americans. And the feminist movement, yes, was about women, but it was about a sense of equity for all Americans. So what we work hard to do is create a movement that speaks to everyone's family and everyone's child, that the same principles that raise my own children, that is, the principles of health and education and nurturing and love, every child needs that. It's not about those children. It's about our children, all our children. So progress that we have made, frankly, is directly coincident to thinking about this in terms of everyone's child.
Absolutely. And we're talking with Dave Lawrence, formerly of the Free Press, Miami Herald, and currently with the Children's Movement of Florida. And one of the goals that we have at our Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation is really to be seen as a leading children's advocacy organization in the state and hopefully beyond. And based on the success that you've had in Florida and your priorities, are there things you recommend or suggest that would help us sort of follow your lead?
Well, the best you can do in this world is not save it. None of us is going to save this world. About the best you can do is to be a good example of what could be done. And that's what we seek to be. That if we can do it in Miami, if we can do it in Florida, then why can't Detroit do it?
Right.
Why can't Michigan? The same principles that speak to the 9 million people in the state of Michigan are the same principles that speak to the 20 million people in Florida. It's really all the fundamentals. Children need the fundamentals. I'll give you one example. Mm-hmm. In 1988, a woman named Janet Reno, a distinguished public servant, was a state attorney here, tried to pass a dedicated funding source for children and argued it's about children in this neighborhood and that neighborhood, meaning almost stereotypically disadvantaged, at-risk minority neighborhoods. It failed 2-1. We passed it by arguing in 2002 it was about everyone's child. Mm-hmm. Yes, certain children need more, ought to get more, but we argued it was about everyone's child. It passed overwhelmingly, I think, in large measure, to having that kind of approach. I have become convinced, I didn't know this before, I've become convinced that the early years are so terribly important. 85% of brain growth occurs by the age of 3. windows will never be so wide open for learning as they are in the first several years of life. 30% of children in Michigan and Florida start school behind, and then a huge percentage of them get further behind. Teachers leave the profession in large numbers, partly because they find themselves in the business of triaging more than teaching. Yet a good teacher is such a powerful person. I can remember my first grade teacher at Sandy Creek Central School. You can imagine how small that was. Right. And at Sandy Creek Central School, I still know her name, and that's 69 years ago.
Yeah, the impact it had.
That's the power.
That is the power. So, well, thank you for all you're doing in Florida.
Can I mention one other thing?
Oh, you betcha.
Well, I only mention this, that I see that the folks in Detroit have selected Nikolai Vitti.
Right. Yes,
and,
that came out today.
I happen to know him fairly well.
Right.
He comes out of the Miami-Dade school system, which is the fourth largest system in the country. He's now in Jacksonville and Duval County. I think you're getting somebody really good.
Great.
I think you're going to be very happy with it.
Excellent. I think he grew up in Dearborn or Dearborn Heights.
Yeah.
There is some connection, and so if I meet him, I'll pass that on.
Okay, please do.
And thank you for all you're doing. We
stay in touch, please.
Yeah, we still miss you, and come back.
Okay, I love Detroit.
All right, come back and see us, Dave.
Okay,
thank you. That was Dave Lawrence, chair of the Children's Movement of Florida. And coming up next, we'll speak with Ryan and Kelly LaFontaine and hear more about the LaFontaine Automotive Group and the great work they're doing to support the battle against cancer for Michigan children. That's when Caring for Kids continues, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR. Ryan LaFontaine is Chief Operating Officer at LaFontaine Automotive Group, current President of the Detroit Auto Dealers Association and Vice Chairman of the recent 2017 North American International Auto Show and Chairman of the 2018 North American International Auto Show. Ryan holds a bachelor's degree in automotive marketing from Northwood University. Kelly LaFontaine is Vice President of LaFontaine Automotive Group. She directs all of the organization's grassroots marketing initiatives and launched the LaFontaine Business-to-Business Department that now thrives across the entire automotive group. Kelly also holds a marketing degree from Northwood University. So, LaFontaine's, welcome to Caring for Kids.
Thank you for having us.
We're excited to be on. Thanks again.
We're delighted, and we're on WJR, which is a partner of yours as well, so it's one big happy family here.
Yeah, it's been a great partnership on both sides, and we couldn't be happier.
So, great. So, the LaFontaine name is certainly one that is familiar to our listeners, as your family has been a respected automotive business leader in Michigan for decades. But for the listeners who may not be familiar about the automotive group, can you tell us a little bit about the current status of LaFontaine Automotive Group?
Sure. We've been very fortunate, very blessed to grow all here right in Michigan. We started off really with just 2 stores. My father started the company. His first dealership was in 1980, and then at that standpoint, in 1984, we bought a second store, which was a Pontiac Cadillac GMC store. My mom ran that store. My dad ran the other one, and we've been able to grow it substantially, especially in the last 10 years. So from those 2 stores, we currently now have 33 dealerships.
33?
33 franchises, I should say, and 21 different dealerships itself.
That's a lot.
All local right here, right in Michigan.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a lot of growth.
Over 1,250 employees. So we've been very proud and very blessed and just excited about what's going on in Michigan and really excited to be part of it all.
Well, we're glad you're doing that, and it's just proof that good business, good families do good things, and you do a lot of great things for the community besides provide vehicles. Philanthropy and giving back has always been an important part of your business model, and in recent years you've focused more on providing vital funding for cancer research and treatment through the nonprofit organization that you created, You Can Survive, Can you tell our listeners a little bit more of You Can Survive and the mission of the organization?
Of course. You know, Ryan and I have been very passionate about finding research for cancer and finding the cure. We really thought about funding and saying, okay, what can we do? How can we get this out there? And how do we stay here local in Michigan and find this cure for cancer? Because I know it's touched our lives personally and our family personally, but it's touched so many others. So we're very passionate and, like Ryan said, fortunate that we can be doing this. So we figured out well, you know, at the moment when Ryan was, battling cancer, and we said, he had that 86% cure rate, and we had a fighting chance. So our mission has been giving somebody else that same fighting chance that we had. So it's very important to us. This past May, we actually started our own nonprofit, You Can Survive, and that's what we have done. So it's almost been a year now, and we're very proud of it.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been growing it for quite some time now. We've been fundraising for the World of Cancer for the last 8 years, and we have many grants out there. We started off teaming up with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and then great organizations like Angel of Hope and Project One, and just trying to obviously get back as we learn more and could really create our own 501c3. And really the main importance that we really wanted to achieve was, one, making sure we had a 501c3 where all the funds that we raise go directly to supporting, obviously, the World of Cancer, as opposed to any salaries or any admin fees. So we were very passionate about that. And then we are also very passionate to give back to all the great hospitals we have here right in Michigan. So we keep all the money here local, and we have research grants over at U of M Hospital. We have 10 of them working over there. We have almost our third we're working on it when it comes to Detroit Children's Hospital that we obviously been giving back to, and we want to grow that and really give back to these great hospitals we have right here in Michigan and their researchers, and really improve the cure rate and really listen to them and what projects they have going on, and really which ones we can have a difference to affect the cure rate and really have an impact on everyone here, not just locally in Michigan, but just everyone that's impacted by this vicious disease.
Excellent. And we're talking with Ryan and Kelly LaFontaine of the LaFontaine Automotive Group, and their almost a year old You Can Survive organization. And I had the pleasure of meeting you early in my arrival for the foundation at the hospital, where we were fortunate to be the recipient of $172,000 from your organization, You Can Survive, to support the work the hospital is doing at Children's Hospital of Michigan and Wayne State University. And Dr. Taub, who was at the event when we announced it, was there. And can you talk a little bit about why Children's Hospital in that regard?
Oh yeah, it's been awesome. Dr. Taub's, he's contagious. Him and his researchers that we met, that's why we've really been, since we've gotten our own 501c3 and we have control, that your hospital obviously is the only hospital we've given funds to because of that, and just the world of impact that the impact they're having on these patients, and seeing it firsthand. We went there on Valentine's Day and passed out bears and got to meet a lot of the patients and see it in firsthand, and it's just absolutely amazing work that he's doing and his entire staff is doing, and we couldn't be more excited to sit here and grow it further. We want to continually fund more research grants at that amazing hospital as we grow. It's been awesome. And
it's been very important to us when we raise money and we raise fundings that we personally touch and feel and know that we take that trust and pride factor. When Dr. Taub's in your hospital, we have that pride factor that we know that money is going to great research, and it's just we feel like there's a sense of pride knowing that it's going in the right hands, it's going to be doing the right things, and we take a personal pride in that.
Yeah,
you look at it, it's that personal experience, that one-on-one experience, and you can tell when someone's sincere and genuine. You can't fake that, and by far, Dr. Taub's and his staff, it just pours right out of them. Their passion is just contagious, and it's great to be a part of.
And like yourself, Ryan, as I'm sure you know, Dr. Taub is a cancer survivor himself as a youngster, and so that makes a difference too.
It does. I mean, by no means can you sit here and say you've walked in everyone's footsteps by any means, but it just gives you some empathy and a one-on-one experience of what it's like. And like Kelly mentioned earlier, I had a very curable cancer, but it's any type of cancer you have, it's just beyond scary, and a lot of things you have to go through, from radiation to chemotherapy, a lot of emotions, a lot of things. And I just look at how blessed I was that a lot of people really just rallied, obviously raised the cure rate for that disease state so high, and it really fueled my passion and Kelly's and all of our board members to really give back and make sure we can help other people with other versions of cancers so they have that same success rate, because it's just such an impactful disease.
Yes, and speaking of that, you have an exciting event coming up in May. And so I thought I'd give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about what that is and how people might get involved.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for letting us do this. So on May 19th, we are paying it forward. So we decided to take it to Move Towards a Cure, backed by popular demand. Everyone loves the 80s. This year we are doing 80s workout theme attire.
Wow.
So it's going to be awesome. Fountain hosts us year over year over year. They've done a great job for us. So if you want to go to youcansurvive.com, and all the information is right there, how you buy your tickets, all the awesome bands, the live auction, the silent auction. So it tells us all about it. But it's May 19th at 1 o'clock registration, and the party starts at 6.
Excellent. We'll put that on our Caring for Kids website as well, and shoot it out on social media.
Yeah, we like to have fun. The word it's fundraiser, right? So we want to make sure everyone has fun and has a good time. And I think it's important when you're spelling out the website, it's just the letter U and then the word cancer and then vive at the end .com, just so they have the proper spelling.
So they have it. Yep. So having fun and doing the right thing for cancer research, it's a trifecta, as you said. So thank you both for all you're doing and for being on Caring for Kids.
We can't thank you enough for having us today and just helping us grow spread the word and just giving back to the world of cancer. So we're very grateful for the time. Thank you again.
May 19th is the date for the next event, so thank you both. That was Ryan and Kelly LaFontaine from LaFontaine Automotive Group and founders of You Can Survive. And coming up next, we'll speak with Rich Homberg and Tara Hardy from Detroit Public Television when Caring for Kids continues here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR. Rich Homberg is president and CEO of Detroit Public Television, a position he has held since 2008. Mr. Homberg joined Detroit Public TV after a successful career in commercial broadcasting for CBS, Viacom, and Westinghouse Broadcasting. In Detroit, DPTV's television and radio stations have greatly improved their operating results and audience reach while increasing local content and community engagement during Rich's tenure. He's an active member of the Metro Detroit community. He's chair of the Culture Source, Southeast Michigan's Arts and Cultural Leadership Organization, and board member of the Detroit Economic Club. He was appointed to the Michigan Council of Arts and Culture Affairs by Governor Rick Snyder in 2003 and did such a good job he was reappointed in 2016. And Tara Hardy serves as Detroit Public Television's education specialist, leading the station's on-the-ground community engagement and educational initiatives. She's developed strong relationships and partnerships with more than 100 educational institutions in Southeast Michigan, across the state, and across the country. And prior to joining Detroit Public TV, Tara was a teacher, actually in the classroom. She has a science degree from Eastern Michigan University in mathematics, which is scary for me, and a minor in early childhood. She also earned her master's degree in literacy and technology from MSU. So, Rich and Tara, welcome to Caring for Kids.
It's great to be here. Nice to see you, Larry.
And very impressive bios of both of you. Earlier in the show, we talked about, Dave Lawrence talked about teachers, and so now we're interviewing a former teacher. So, Rich, tell us about some of the new and exciting things going on at Detroit Public Television.
Well, we're pretty busy at Detroit Public Television, having fun, sort of dealing with very much a changing media landscape, but also a much larger commitment in a couple areas. One is around our local commitment in prime time and around public affairs and culture and all that. But the other, equally important and maybe more important, is our commitment to kids. And so we have expanded our kids service over the years in a lot of different directions. We built a project called Preschool U, which really helped us to connect to parents, and that's very important. We joke inside the building that we've always been in the kids business, and now our goal is to be in the parents business as well. And so in January, working with Michigan State University and your good help, we launched a 24/7 kids channel, and with the idea that kids watch TV differently than you might expect, and they'll watch a little later, but they'll also watch with their parents if we make it available. And we stream it, so it's on mom and dad's phone, everyone's phone across the region, and then eventually as you watch a show, you'll be pushed towards apps, and so it's a multi-platform, very next-gen kind of effort. But the key to it is our team back at the station, really taking these great assets and bringing energy to them, and that's Miss Tara Hardy's assignment. She leads that effort, and so we've got great programs. How do we use them to build audiences and opportunities and connect with parents?
So 24/7 Children's Channel. Tara, tell us a little bit about the role of Michigan State University and how they're playing a role in that.
We've been working with Michigan State University quite a bit over the last year. We've connected with their experts. We've also connected with their extension services. And we found that we have a lot of parallel goals, and there's been a lot of places to cross over. They've been trained with Preschool U that Rich was just talking about, which is a program for parents and caregivers, using child development and breaking it down to easy tips that parents can use with everyday experiences with kids. And we continue to find new opportunities as we move forward with them.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to be at the launch announcement, and the president of Michigan State was there. And
Lana Simon.
A lot of other dignitaries in the community, and so this is a big deal. And I was brand new in my position, and I met with Rich and said, boy, a 24/7 Children's Channel, there's got to be a role somewhere for the Children's Hospital Michigan Foundation. And so we started talking. And so, Rich or Tara, can you tell us of why you thought the foundation might be a good partner for you in this?
We have the same goals. We're working for kids,
right? And
we have a good connection to resources for parents. We can support parents. You support parents. I think it's just a natural partnership.
Yeah, and I say to anybody that'll listen or to me is that I want our foundation to be seen as the leading children's advocacy organization in the state. And I can't think of a better partner to start with than you all because of what you do and what you just said. And in partnering with Michigan State, that's got a nice presence in Detroit now. Their College of Osteopathic Medicine is actually in the building that I'm in right now, and the facility they have on Woodward. And I also want to connect to the Children's Hospital of Michigan and the physicians and nurses there. Do you see that can be a connection with them as well?
Oh, certainly. We have talked to parents who will tell us, and you probably recognize this yourself, mom and dad are driving away from the hospital. They spent 9 months to deliver a child, and all of a sudden they realize we're rookies at this.
Right.
And anybody that's a first-time parent realizes how much you need to learn. And some of it's simple around health, but some of it's more particular. And growing healthy kids and being healthy during pregnancy and then early in their lives is so important. And if you think that a lot of the thinking's there, how do we connect it to people? And so how do we access the great brain power at the Children's Hospital and all the folks you're connected to at the Children's Hospital Michigan Foundation? How do we take that and make it easier and easier for parents to, what's the best practice?
Right.
What's the best thinking?
Exactly. Right, what to do and good times and when they've got some problem. We're talking, with Rich Homberg and Tara Hardy from Detroit Public Television about the exciting things going on there. And talking to Dave Lawrence earlier, and he talked very passionately about his love for Detroit and how impressed he is with what's going on here. And how do you both feel about all this excitement in Midtown, downtown, New Center area in Detroit? And is that impacting what you do?
Absolutely. We have made some awesome relationships with people in the community. One of the things that we're doing that I see us doing differently than what I've seen in the past is, as a public media station, we are on the ground and in the community, which makes us knowledgeable because we're there and we're visible and we're listening and we're coming in to support.
Great. And Rich, you kind of mentioned it in your first comments about the sort of new world of television and streaming, and how do you react to that? And people watch television on their phones and all things,
Sure.
and how do you stay relevant, which you've done so well? How do you do that?
I think part of our mindset really revolves around the idea of own the conversation. So it's great to have great programs, and programs are important. And in the end, people spend a lot of time watching our great programs. What's the conversation that goes along with that? And if you think about kids programming, the programs are great, and the content that you help provide is wonderful. How do we keep that conversation going, and how do we make it more available? And so I think the future of public television, public media is really, shows will always be important, but what's the context? So if it's a public affairs show, what goes along with that story? Or in the case of with kids, it's one thing to put shows on the air. It's another thing to say, this is a two-way dialogue. We're going to help each other.
Right.
There's lots more information out there. How do we grow healthy kids? That's different than just a show. And
Absolutely.
I think that's where we're headed.
Well, and that's why the Foundation and Detroit Public Television are such good partners, because we don't, at the Foundation, provide any service. We have to be a catalyst and a supporter for people who help kids. And educating kids and teachers and having physicians is all part of it. So I hope this is a long partnership that we have. And so, Tara, and one last question, what else do you want our listeners to know about Detroit Public Television?
We really want people to know that we're here and that we're listening and that we want to make Detroit better.
Couldn't say it better myself. Rich, anything you want to add to that?
No, just thrilled to be here. Larry, your presence, I talked to your board chair, and as you know, and I said to your audience,
right.
And he's so thrilled at the energy you're bringing to this great organization. Feels like you're going in a great direction.
Thank you.
We look forward to working with you.
Thank you. So do I, and appreciate it very much. And that was Rich Homberg and Tara Hardy from Detroit Public Television. And coming up next, I'm going to mention something about a new event of ours and thank some sponsors. And so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hi, Larry Burns here, back for Caring for Kids, and we have in the studio a couple older kids. One of the things that we started this fall was a new internship program at the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation and with Wayne State University and the Ilitch College of Business, and we were fortunate to get 6 interns, and I'm even more fortunate right now to have 2 of those interns in the studio. We have Dee. Dee, welcome.
Thank you.
And Josh, welcome.
Thank you.
I'll go ladies first. Dee, tell our listeners a little bit about your career at Wayne State and what you think about this internship so far.
So I'm currently a junior majoring in marketing with a minor in international studies. I've been at Wayne State for the past 3 years, ever since I've started here. Ever since I started during my freshman year, and I love it. It's been great. Detroit is definitely coming back. I'm loving every single part of it, and the fact that I get to witness the revitalization and the fact that I got an internship at the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation makes it even better. I know this foundation has a very great tie with our community and within the city itself, so I'm just really glad to be here.
Good. Have you learned some things?
Yeah. So
Did you ever think you were going to produce a radio show?
I did not know.
So you're doing that, and you're doing a great job.
Thank
you.
you.
We're proud of you for many reasons. Josh, we're proud of you as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like Dee, tell our listeners a little bit about your career at Wayne State and the internship.
So I transferred to Wayne State in 2012.
From
Saginaw Valley.
Okay.
I'm a super senior, so I'll be graduating in December 2017. And like Dee, being a part of Detroit and going to school in Detroit, you can definitely tell since starting here and ending here, it's changed. There's no city like Detroit. So it's great to be a part of it, and great to be a part of the foundation, and learning every day.
And so we realized early on that you had some video interests and experience, and so you're helping us work creating a video library, telling the story about what we support, what our events are, and are you enjoying that?
Yeah. Every day, it's great to go to work and play around with social media and play around with cameras, and it feels like you're not at work half the time when you're at work.
And we got Chuck Adica now on our team, so he'll teach us all a little bit about, or a lot about video and things. So one last question to put you both on the spot. since I can do that right now. So, Dee, I'll start with you. 5 years from today, where do you want to be?
That's a tough question. I definitely still see myself within the marketing industry. I know I would eventually like to have a managerial position within some type of firm, some type of organization, and just to be leading the marketing department. I definitely want to pave the way for other individuals who also want to go down the similar career path as mine.
Good. Well, you're on your way.
Thank you.
I'll probably be working for you. And Josh, 5 years from now, you've had more time to think about it. Where would you like to be?
Well, before January, I probably would have said something to do in the world of sports. My dream job was to be an athletic director for a Division I college. But now I really don't know. Just being a part of videos and pictures and social media has been really great. So I would love to stay here. That'll be fun.
Good. Well, you never know.
Exactly.
Thank you both. As I mentioned, I know President Wilson is proud of you as president of Wayne State. We're proud of you, and we're glad you're here, and glad you're going to be around for a little while. We had a great show tonight. Particular Dave Lawrence, to connect with him after 28 years was awesome, and Rich Homberg and Tara, along with the LaFontaines, just a great reason to be excited about Detroit and the people we have here. Another thing we're very excited about is we have a new, what we hope develops into a signature fundraising event for the foundation. That's a Kentucky Derby party, and it's benefiting pediatric cancer programs at Children's Hospital of Michigan. It's Saturday, May 6th, Derby Day, at the Grosse Pointe War Memorial on Lake St. Clair. Tickets are still available at www.chmfoundation.org/derbyforkids. It'll be a great time. We have some great sponsors. I'd like to give a special shout-out right now to RDM Associates, the Whitehall Group, Stevenson and Bullock Law Firm, Clark Hill Law Firm, Jaguar Land Rover of Lakeside, Susie and Jack Baker, Erica and Ralph Gerson, Sue and Mike Madison, Metzger Printing from Toledo, Detroit City Distillery providing some bourbon for the mint juleps. Yes, mint juleps will be had. The Peacock Room, which is a great dress store. Mr. Luke Song, who designs hats galore and more for men. And Telemus Financial is sponsoring many of the events as well. So I wanted to give a shout out to thank them and to let everyone know about May 6th. And I want to thank you for joining us tonight for Caring for Kids. I'm your host, Larry Burns. The Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation is proud to sponsor this program. For more information on Caring for Kids, please visit our website, www.chmfoundation.org/caring-for-kids. Follow us on Twitter at CFK Radio Show. We love Twitter, so we'd love to have you follow us. And most importantly, please join us again next time at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, May 23rd for more discussion about the health and healthcare and the well-being of children on Caring for Kids. Here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR. Have a great night.